Are you hearing me? I don't know what makes your life tickle, but if it is gardening, be out there gardening. If it is running, be out there running. If it is walking, be out there. If it is swimming, make sure you can do it during winter. The point is, friends, get out there and move. Okay? You have a pump at the bottom of your feet because arteries that go away from the heart don't have check valves. But the veins that come back to the heart have check valves because if not, all the blood would just kind of drain down to your feet. You follow me? So every time you move, you have a pump that pushes blood, quarter of a blood, upstream, and it checks it by the check valve. Every time you push, another quarter of blood goes up. You got to move. Got to move. If you need low-impact exercise, there's the elliptical, so that it allows you to be able to keep moving. You got to move. Okay? DVT, deep vein thrombosis, thank you, happens a lot of times when you take a long airplane ride, like 22 hours going to India. Don't remind me of that. But anyway, the point is, you got to move. You got to move. You got to keep moving. Because when you move that blood flow. And by moving that blood flow, then you're going to have good health. It was once said by one of my favorite authors, that perfect circulation is equal to perfect health. Do you hear what I say? Perfect circulation is equal to perfect health. Don't wear out. No, let me say that again. Don't rust out, wear out. Thank you, I appreciate that. You want to wear out, not rust out, okay? Got to keep moving. So you got to have that exercise if you're able to move there. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, hydration, the dreaded water. What do you mean? Coke and Pepsi and my favorite drink doesn't count? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Don't get me started on telling you how your gut actually works and your digestive system works. But here's what the point that I want to make. Friends, if you're out there in nature, have you ever seen a Coca-Cola tree? You did? No. Have you ever seen an orange juice tree? No. Have you ever seen an apple juice tree? Carrot juice? No. What is it that you find up there in nature that is abundant that the animals drink and everybody else? Water, 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 water. Now, did you know that, how many of you know the molecular structure of water? Can you recite it to me? H2O. Okay, I'm going to quiz you now. What is H2O2? Aha, very good. I like that. Do you know what hydrogen peroxide is used for? At 70% concentration to 90% concentration? What is it used for? Rocket fuel. That is right, sir. Rocket fuel. So water is very close to that rocket fuel. H2, hydrogen, 2 molecules, O2, 2 molecules of oxygen. But water only has 1 molecule of oxygen. The point that I'm trying to make is water is like rocket fuel. Did you know that the only true thing that will dilute your blood is actually water? When you are well hydrated, you will be blessed beyond belief. Now, how much is adequate water for a person? Now, when you go to a hospital, if you have a person that weighs 400 pounds and another person that weighs 100 pounds, do they give them the same treatment? No. Why? Are they discriminating? No. It's because the treatment is given by weight or body mass volumes, okay? So a person that has 400 pounds has far more body mass to treat than a person that has 100 pounds. Are you following me? Okay? Now, water should be treated overall by your ideal weight, okay? So a good way for you to know is you take basically, if you're sick, 80% of your body weight, okay, in ounces of water per day. That is your adequate water intake. All right, so if you have a person who is 100 pounds, 80% of 100 is 80. And divided by 4 is 20. And that means that you drink those 20 ounces 4 times a day. I'm going to give you the 4 times. As soon as you rise, 2 hours after your breakfast, 2 hours after your lunch, and at 6:30 p.m. Now, if you have questions of why is it particular in those times, I don't have enough time to tell you now, but you can come and ask questions later when we have the free consultations. We can chat about it. Friends, water is essential. If you were to talk to an emergency room physician and ask him, sir, can you please tell me what majority of the cases are related to that you see in the ER outside of trauma? And you know what they will tell you? You're dehydrated. As a matter of fact, during the procedure is that they put the IV, and the IV has magic in it, right? No, it has electrolytes with potassium and sodium to keep you hydrated because you're not drinking water at home, and we charge you $1,000 for that one. Every day in the emergency room is about $10,000. Now, I don't know about you, but I like simple math. I don't want to pay $10,000. I just want to drink my water. Are you with me? Simple, straightforward, drink your water, okay? It will be very helpful for you. All right, very good. What else do we got here? Oh, yes, I'm going to talk about this. All right, so we go up there. I'm giving a lecture. We moved through 7 different towns. We spent almost 2 months in India. And so every week we were visiting a different town. And so we are trying to get some sleep with the Indian music going on and the roosters and the chickens and everything else that is out there. And in the midst of that, we hear a nice, just the people were just sick. And so we're trying to think, well, what can we do to help this brother? So in the morning, early on, I went seeking for this brother. I said, who was it that was coughing? And lo and behold, it was the person who was preparing the food. I said, yes, we need to help you. And so we went up there and put this simple remedy together. Now, I'm going to combine this and walk you through the remedy back into the stuff that we talked about. This is what we call the immune remedy, which combines quercetin, allicin, which we didn't have time to talk about, that comes from the garlic. There's a particular way you have to do it. If not, it does not combine. Oops, I only have like 1 minute left. I got you. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to go through it because I don't have enough time. Take a picture, please, so that you don't miss it. And so I can just kind of walk you through it and not bore you to death. So here's how it goes. You grab 6 to 10 cloves of garlic, and you have to match them well and put them together and leave them alone for 10 minutes. Why? Why can't I just match the garlic and put it in? Well, because if you ingest the garlic right away, the allicin, which is the active constituent that actually helps your immune system, does not have a chance to form. It is in its deactivated form, and it needs time to react and form. So you mash the garlic and you leave it for 10 minutes, and that would allow the allicin to be made. Okay? How many of you are familiar with Alimed? Are you familiar with Alimed? Those who are no, okay. Well, the capsules from Alimed, one bottle of Alimed, it's $120. It's pure allicin, but it's $120. So you can make it at home, okay? Definitely in a more potent way when you buy it clinically made, but this is far easier to make at home. So you do that. You put 4 cups of water, boiling water. You put in 4 cups of, you take a purple onion. I have half an onion there. Yeah, what do I say, quarter to half? Because not all the onions are the same size. So just kind of measure. If you put too much onion, your nose is going to run like crazy. But just kind of put, half, of onion in there. Purple onion is best. What does the onion have? Quercetin. Remember, purple onions have the quercetin, okay? Garlic has the allicin, which is very good for your immune system, okay? Then you go in there and you put the garlic, you put the squeezed lemon. What does the lemon have? Vitamin C. And it also has something that I didn't have enough time to talk about, which is bioflavonoids and flavonoids. Incredibly important for your health. Please do some study about that. Peppermint, because if not, your wife will not want to come near you when you drink it because of the garlic. And so 3 drops of peppermint oil. A pinch of cayenne helps your circulation. And so you blend all this with honey. I just talked to a physician. Where is she? Oh, she was there and just disappeared. Yeah, and I asked her, we were just talking about, wound care. And she said, yeah, in the Newport Hospital we do wound care, and when we do advanced wound care, we use honey to treat the wounds. Honey is incredibly important to do that. Honey will be very, very good for you in the overall immune system. And so when you add it to the immune system, to the immune remedy, you basically blend it up, and this will give you what will look like more like a syrup. This has 4 cups of water, so it'll be really runny. But you can basically mix it with your water and drink it within a day. That's the idea. This is for one person for one day. And I tell you, in my home, whenever we feel something going on, we make the immune remedy. It's a blessing. It has all of the pieces blend together to be able to move forward. Now, I think I have 5 minutes. Do I? Not? Okay. And all right, I'm going to give you the chance to have a quick question, if you have it, that I may be able to address it here in 5 minutes. Yes, sir. There you go. Very good idea. And we can go a little bit more into this, but the main point here, friends, is it goes like this. If I'm drinking water in one end because I want to have good flow in my veins, and I'm eating fried chicken in the other one, what do you think is going to happen? The fried chicken is going to win. You know why? Because all the ingest that you have, you remember, you cannot outrun your fork, right? If you have a high-fat ingest in one end, and in the other you're take your pick, whatever you want, to dissolve those clots, but you're producing the clots. Friends, the idea is not just take enough so you can dissolve what you ate. The idea is eat those things that are helpful for your system. Personally, I have chosen a plant-based diet. I think it's the best for me, and I think it's the best for my family, my children, and I encourage everyone to do that. It's your choice what you do. But friends, if you kill yourself in one end, and in the other one you take the remedy, it's just not going to help you. Does that make sense? And so make sure you are actively doing those things that are good for you and that are the best choice for you. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You know, the ounce to a pound, there's a big difference. Anyway, quick other question for anybody. Yes, sir. Or ma'am, or one of those two back there. Yes, why is it that infants are not recommended when they're less than 1 year old to drink or have honey? Because of the pollen that is in the honey. It's not the honey itself that is the problem, but the pollen that is in the honey that the physician is worried that the immune system will have an overreaction to. Okay? So for infants, we don't use honey. We use it externally or topically. But if it is something internally, you want to have something like very soothing, like chamomile, which is naturally sweet, to be able to soothe and have the infant take. Like for instance, in our case, for our babies as they were growing up, we will mix our soy milk formula with half of chamomile tea, and it was just helping to have an easy digestion and be able to go to sleep. Okay. One last question. Yes, sir. Interesting. That totally would depend on how well your kidneys are functioning, okay, and how much water you're actually retaining. There is a reason why I mentioned it 4 times a day. Okay, so what happens is when you're dehydrated, you know what the first signal is to the body? What do you feel? Feel hungry. Yeah, when you're hungry, it's not really hungry, you're just dehydrated. No, for real. If 5 hours have not elapsed between your last meal, your body, the easy translation too is that you feel hungry, but it's actually you're dehydrated. And so it's important that throughout the day, in those 4 times, as soon as you rise, 2 hours after your lunch, 2 hours after your breakfast, 2 hours after your lunch, and at 6:30 p.m., cold water preferably, and skipping the last meal. That's another talk. But those water times are very important. And if you want to learn more, I can talk with you afterwards. So I think my time is up. Thank you very kindly for your attention, and we'll chat later.
There we go. Well, thank you for that presentation, Doctor.
Praise the Lord.
And don't forget, well, right now, when we break for lunch, we have all that beautiful food over there. It's only $5 a plate. And then we're going to have a 2-hour break. And before we go, I've been asked to mention a little something. It'll just take a couple of minutes about what I'm holding in my hand. Let me put down this, and then I'm going to hold these up. These are copies of the 10 Commandments, and they're different colors. There's different colors. There's other posters out there on the table, and we want you to have one of these. You're welcome to have one. Several years ago, back in the 80s, I read an article. A doctor had studied 55,000 young people that had been in trouble with the law, 16 years old and younger. And out of 55,000, only 9,000 ever heard of the existence of the 10 Commandments. And he went to a high school, and the percentage was the same. I went to Bible bookstores in Coeur d'Alene and Spokane trying to find a copy of the 10 Commandments for our home, and they weren't available. And the clerks in each store always said, "Oh, I'm sure there's one in the posters." There wasn't. So I printed these up, had my son do some artwork, printed them up, and since that time we've taken millions to many countries all over the world and spoken to many world leaders. And they are amazed when we tell them about the first commandment. That is my favorite commandment, the first one. It begins with, "I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me." How did they come out of Egypt? They had to have a lamb live with them for 4 days, 3.5, 4 days. Then they had to kill it, put the blood over the door, and eat the rest of the lamb. And when they did that, when God had told Moses to have them do that, that next morning they walked out of the house of slavery and bondage. They walked out under the blood of the lamb. And that lamb, John the Baptist said, when Jesus came to him, he said, "Behold the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world." This first commandment, when they took the lamb, was a type of Jesus Christ. And when they applied the lamb's blood over the door, they were justified by what Jesus did for them, but they were also instructed to eat the rest of the lamb that night before morning. They put the lamb on the inside as well. They were justified to walk out of the house of bondage under the blood, but they were sanctified with the strength with Jesus inside of them to be able to walk free from sin. That's why Jesus said, "You must eat my flesh and drink my blood." So my friends, this is so powerful. God tells us, teach our children. It's powerful. My final thought, a man named Desmond Doss, if you've heard of the movie Hacksaw Ridge, he looked at the 10 Commandments. I have a copy of the poster that he looked at. He looked at that poster as a little boy, and he determined that he was going to obey those commandments. And he became a hero, from that poster. These have power for your children. We want you to have one. God bless you, each one.
Make sure you're 9 a.m. We come back at 2.
Oh, come back at 2 o'clock. So enjoy. God bless.